let's continue with the employee stock options. Regarding the accounting treatment, so the accounting treatment, the presentation and disclosure requirements and all covered as per guidance note on accounting for employee share based payments. As actually Institute of Chartered Accountants of India has two types of pronouncements, you know them by now. One type of pronouncement, I am talking about with regard to accounting standard, with regard to accounting treatments in general. One type of pronouncement, accounting standard, which are mandatory by and large. Very few exceptions are given, that's all. Another series of pronouncements, guidance notes. Guidance notes. These are the two series of pronouncements. Auditing standards are separate. We are not discussing it now. So the accounting and requirement and the reporting requirements are established by guidance note on employee share based payments. That is the guidance note name, and that guidance note establish the principles of accounting for the purpose of employee share based payment. So all that which you are going to learn now as journal entries in the subsequent slides, they are all governed by this guidance note. The fair value of the option should be recognized as an expense. This is what is the theme. This is the thesis or theme. The fair value of the option should be recognized as expense. Fair value of option different, fair value of share different. In short, if shares are issued at a concessional value, that concession is like expense for the company. That will be recognized by the company as expense over the vesting period, depends on vesting period. We will see more about it in the second series of journal entries. Our first series of journal entries will cover a point like when grant, vesting, exercise and lapse. When all the four arise in the same year, how to account. That is one series. Another series of journal entries, when the vesting period exceed 1 year, how to account. Both we will check up now. The allocation of option value should be based on estimated vesting period. The fair value of option can be determined by any one of the following methods, which are explained in the next slide. So methods of valuation, first we have this intrinsic value. Now I have to arrive at the fair value of option. How to arrive? That's what we are discussing. One method called intrinsic value. It is very easy. Market price per share minus exercise price per share will give you fair value per option. If you are strong on this, it will help in final also. Same model, same type of points are there in CA final also. So I repeat this, excess of market price of share under ESOS over the exercise price of the option, that is called intrinsic value. A short version, market price per share. Market price per share minus exercise price per share. This will give you fair value per option. What you should notice, the difference is fair value of option, the financial instrument. Then what is fair value? There is another method. Some questions will give you market price and exercise price. Based on that, we will compute the fair value of option. Some other question, they will simply give the fair value of option along with that exercise price, like that. So fair value, the amount for which stock option granted for exercise could be exchanged between knowledgeable willing parties in an arm's length transaction. The amount for which stock option granted for exercise could be exchanged between knowledgeable willing parties in an arm's length transaction. Fair value definition itself is like this: the value which is arrived between knowledgeable and willing parties in an arm's length transaction, that is fair value. Then what is the methods of valuation? Already we discussed intrinsic value method, fair value method. Now intrinsic value method, just now you have seen the formula: fair value per option is equal to market price per share minus exercise price per share. That would be called fair value per option. The other side, fair value method, the price of instrument on grant date in an arm's length transaction between knowledgeable and willing parties is fair value of option, is fair value of option. This is how the two methods we use. And journal entries, of course, the very base of whatever we are going to do in the problems to come. First, when grant, vesting, exercise and lapse, when they arise in the same financial year, how to account? Let's see that. For recognition of expense, what is the journal entry first? The journal entry: bank account debit, employee compensation expense account debit, to equity share capital, to securities premium. This is the journal entry we have to pass. Bank account debit, employee compensation expenses account debit, to equity share capital, to securities premium. This entry passed at the time of exercise of option. At the time of exercise of option. Now you have to note one point: employee compensation expense is just like any other expense. So it is a nominal account. We will be taking it to profit and loss account. We will be taking this nominal account to P&L, just like any other nominal account. What is very, very important, this entry passed at the time of exercise of option. There is an alternative method which we will discuss later. Instead of passing like this, you can pass an entry at the time of incurring of the expenditure. You can pass an entry: employee compensation expense account debit to ESOS outstanding. Then another entry at the time of exercise: bank account debit, company will receive cash. Company will get cash. That is why bank account debited. What amount do you have to debit here? Exercise price per share multiplied by number of shares exercised. Exercise price you will debit in the bank account. What will you debit in the employee compensation expense account? Fair value per option. This is what you will debit here. Fair value per option. Equity share capital, of course, what should you credit? Face value. We have to credit face value. The balancing figure will go to securities premium account. Balancing figure. This is how the entry is structured. Instead, as I was saying, alternate possible. First entry can be employee compensation expense account debit to ESOS outstanding. At the time of exercise, small change. Instead of employee compensation expense, you will debit ESOS. Bank account debit, ESOS outstanding account debit, to equity share capital, to securities premium. Then for lapse, you will pass another entry. It would be ESOS outstanding account debit to employee compensation expense. These things are possible. This is your first possibility. When all the four arise in the same year. When grant, vesting, exercise or lapse, when they arise in the same financial year, we pass this entry. Transfer to P&L, of course, just like any other expenses, we have to take it to P&L. Entry should be profit and loss account debit to employee compensation expense. Just like any other expense, when you take it to P&L debit side, the entry would be P&L account debit to concerned expense. Same entry we pass here also. I hope these points regarding the first possibility when grant, vesting, exercise, lapse all arise in the same financial year, we pass these two entries. I told you an alternate also. Alternate will involve 4 entries. Anyway, net effect would be same. Not much of the difference. Net effect would be same. First entry would be employee compensation expense to ESOS outstanding. Second entry at the time of exercise, it would be bank account debit, ESOS outstanding account debit to equity share capital to securities premium, alternative. Third entry for lapse, entry would be ESOS outstanding account debit to employee compensation expenses account. Then transfer to P&L. Transfer to P&L, the entry shall be P&L account debit to employee compensation expense. Like that we pass entries. Next, when the vesting period exceed 1 year, then some 2 entries we will be passing in each year. First for recognition of expense, second to transfer that to P&L. Employee compensation expenses account debit to ESOS outstanding. We will calculate proportionate expense for each year. Suppose if it is 3-year vesting period, first we will find the total expense and then 1/3 will be recognized over each year. We will see how to book. That time you should take into account the lapse also. All those things we will see in the questions. Then transfer to P&L, profit and loss account debit to employee compensation expenses account. We take it to profit and loss account. And just like any other expense, we take employee compensation expense also to profit and loss account. Profit and loss account. After that, the next one, when the vesting period exceed 1 year, at the time of exercise, the entry to be passed, bank account debit, ESOS outstanding account debit to equity share capital to securities premium. That is the entry we will be passing. So bank account debit, what you have to debit here, exercise price we have to debit. Exercise price. What you should debit in employee stock option outstanding account, fair value of option you have to debit. To equity share capital, what should be credited? We have to credit face value. To securities premium, what you have to credit? Balancing figure. This is the format of entries. Lapse of options. Lapse of options. In a year other than the year of recognition of expense. Other than the year of recognition of expense, what you should note here, for recognition of expense you pass an entry, employee compensation expense to, this is the entry you pass. Previous slide you have seen. The entry you pass for recognition of expense, employee compensation expense account debit to ESOS outstanding account. This is the entry you are passing. This is the entry we pass. Now for lapse, can I pass the reverse of this? Can I pass this reverse entry? Answer, not possible. You cannot pass. You know why? Your expense recognition may be in year 1. Lapse can be in 3rd year. Lapse can be in the 4th year. Lapse can be in any year. So, we cannot pass this entry ESOS to employee compensation. You recognized expense proportionately in the 1st year. Now, lapse takes place in the 3rd year. If I reverse the ESOS to employee compensation expense, third year employee compensation expense will go wrong. How to overcome? We have a mechanism, we will see that. So, it is like this, a parallel scenario. You are finalizing accounts for a company, financial year 2020-21. March 21, salary of a person called Riaz. Instead of debiting salaries account, wrongly debited by the company to Riaz account. Now, 2021, I mean the urgency in finalization, all that, accounts tallied, this error went unnoticed in audit, they finalized everything. Accounts will tally. Don't think like how trial balance will tally. Instead of salaries account, you are having an account called Riaz account. Trial balance will tally. It would be fine. So, what happens? Next year audit, they are finding this error. Instead of salaries, wrongly it got debited to Riaz. If I ask you in a live class, how will you rectify this in the year 21-22? Overwhelming response, they will say, sir, the rectification should be salaries account debit to Riaz account. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. If you do that, 2021-22 salary, correct salary will become wrong salary. Our objective is it to rectify an error or create a counter error for one error. We have to be clear on that. We have to be clear on that. So, moral of the story, nominal accounts, very big concept. This one is a big concept. Nominal accounts are closed on year basis. If you close that account, that is what I told through salary example. Next year, if I rectify, the correct entry should be P&L adjustment account debit. Are you able to follow? P&L adjustment account debit to Riaz account. If I take it to the salary of 21-22, correct salary will become wrong salary. Like that here, if you rectify in the next year expense will get understated. For lapse, why should you collapse 1 year? Instead, what the guidance note says, if there is a lapse of option in a year other than the year of recognition of expense, you have to take it to general reserve account. So, the journal entry, employee stock option outstanding, that is what shortly called the ESOS account, to general reserve account. This is the entry we pass. This is the rectification entry we pass. So, we have few more aspects regarding this. The initial estimate of vesting period on grant date, we have to review that during each subsequent accounting period, and it should be revised if necessary at the end of each accounting period. We have to review and revise. In case of revision of vesting period, the basis of allocation of option value to a particular accounting period should be based on revised estimate. There can be change in vesting period, that is the estimate of vesting period. You have to allocate based on revised vesting period, that's all. Where the vesting condition is a market condition, it can be subject to market price of share or subject to some other their product price, like that. Then the fair value of option is reduced due to the possibility that vesting condition may not be satisfied. It is like using of probability. Using them, in short, your fair value can undergo change with regard because of the fact that the condition not achieved. Due to that fact, you can revise that. That's the point. And the next one, such fair values are recognized as expense whether or not market condition is satisfied. Look at this. We are not bothered about satisfaction of the condition because your first entry remains same. You can notice that. Employee compensation expense account debit to ESOS outstanding account. This entry remains same, irrespective of whether market condition satisfied or not, like that. The estimate of vesting periods are not revised subsequently in these cases. So, with this, in the next module, we will go for questions regarding the employee share based payment and how to pass journal entries, what are the effects, how to account, all that we will see in the next learning unit. Thank you.